Hi, I'm Dan Neaverth. We all want to be living our best life, have health and peace of mind for ourselves, family and friends, and in this special presentation, I'm going to help you do just that. I'll introduce you to Walt Kolt. Now, he and his team can make your home an independent living space for you or your loved ones. We'll also meet the Stamm Law Legal Team, hometown counselors, with advice that you'll need as you get older. And we'll take you to a Western New York institution where you can recover and rehab so that you can live your best life. Why don't we start there? We'll catch up with Nancy Gugino, the Business Development Director at the Brothers of Mercy in Clarence. Thank you for being with us today.
Hi, Dan. Welcome back.
Well, it's good to be here. You know, a lot of people think of the Brothers of Mercy. They think that it's just a nursing home, but it's a lot more than that.
It sure is. Not only do we have our 5-star nursing facility here, we also have inpatient and now outpatient services as well, therapy services. We also have a full continuum. We have assistive living and 2 independent living communities. We're finishing the strategic planning for a brand new state-of-the-art assistive living, enhanced assisted living, and memory care community. We'll be breaking ground for that this spring, and the doors will open the following spring in 2020.
That all sounds pretty exciting. Now, if you did mention inpatient, outpatient, what's the difference? How does that work?
Well, inpatient, typically someone comes to us from the hospital setting. They had some kind of an incident happen that took them to the hospital, and now they need subacute rehab in a setting like Brothers of Mercy. So they come to us, we work our magic, do all the therapy we need to do, and typically transition them back home. Maybe 6 months down the road, they visit their doctor. The doctor says, you're doing great. You could use a little bit more therapy. So they give us a call back, and they return to our brand new Russell J. Salvatore Outpatient Rehab Clinic.
That sounds great. Also want to meet another member of your staff, so you can introduce me to her.
I'd like to introduce you to Lauren. She is the director of the Outpatient Rehab Clinic. So let's go.
Okay. Lauren, what happens here in this beautiful facility?
Well, not only do we have physical therapy patients, but we also provide occupational and speech therapy here. So we have a lot of patients that come to see multiple disciplines. We can take any kind.
I see all kinds of equipment here.
Yes.
This is absolutely beautiful, and I saw you working with some people before.
Yes.
And they seem to enjoy it. I mean, it's not so much work as it is they feel, I guess, that they're going to recover because of the work you do here and because of the equipment and everything you have.
Sure. Our job as therapists are to make sure that people are functioning at their most optimal state. So even if they are independent, we still want to get them just a little bit better. If it's for a tune-up, they can come in and go back out on their way with a nice exercise program.
Nancy, Homeward Bound has a warm, comforting feeling to it. It sounds great, but I'd like you to explain to our viewers exactly what that means, Homeward Bound.
Sure, Dan. Our Homeward Bound program is exactly what it states. When someone arrives at the Brothers of Mercy Rehabilitation Facility, our job is to evaluate with our sophisticated team of therapists, work very hard with them, and get them home better than when they came in, much better, in the most efficient amount of time possible. We have occupational therapists, we have speech therapists, we have physical therapists, and everyone works very hard to get the optimal level of functioning for that patient. We all fight for the patient. Look, no one wants to go to the hospital. No one wants to come to a rehab facility. But if you do have a life-changing event and you need therapy, Brothers is a 5-star facility, and the care, the therapy, and the overall feeling in this building is like none other. I visit every single rehab patient, and I tell them it feels like a mini vacation for them because the care is so wonderful, the food is so good, but I tell them, you're here to work, and you're going to work hard. And our team is fighting for you to get you back home better than before that episode.
Tell me about someone that you consider like a miracle because of Homeward Bound.
That would be someone I'd love to introduce you to, Nancy Wolf. She was a patient. She is now on our advisory council, and she is, as you say, a true miracle that unfolded right within these walls.
Well, let's go meet her now.
Terrific. Let's
Okay.
go.
I'm here with Nancy, and we're about to hear an amazing story. It's a miracle, and miracles do happen, and the miracles happened here. After a whole bunch of horrible things, an accident that you had to be cut out of a car.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
Mercy flighted, you get to the hospital, and it didn't look good, okay?
No, it did not. I had a crushed pelvis, broken ribs, lungs, and not expected to walk. And after I left ECMC, after a 2.5-week period, I came to Brothers, and I'll tell you, Brothers, I was not supposed to walk, but with the help of everyone at Brothers, everyone, from housekeeping to the nurses to dietary, everyone made me what I am today, and I like to call it like it's like a village, because everyone that took care of me is making me what I am today.
What, were you surprised that they were able to help you the way they did?
No, actually, I was unconscious for at least 2.5 weeks. I don't remember, 2.5, 3 weeks. So when I initially went into the trauma unit from the Mercy flight, I was then taken, I guess, after 5 days I was there, and 5 days, and then I had surgery. And all I remember is 3 weeks later, I was transferred here, but I don't remember it being transferred here either. So all of that's, you know, way out there. And thanks to Brothers. I really mean it, thanks to Brothers.
It's very obvious that you are so thankful the way things turned out. And we talk about a miracle, and a miracle really did happen. And a major part of that miracle, Brothers of Mercy.
Absolutely. Everyone, the kindness, I can't tell you the kindness, because it's like when you're in your room 24/7 and you can't do anything for yourself, and they're there for you. And it's thank you, God. It was a real miracle, and as I said, it takes a village, and I've found my village, and I thank them very much.
Thank you. Thank you for telling your story.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm here with Pete Eimer. He's the CEO of Brothers of Mercy, and we're going to talk about some new and exciting things that are happening right here on this campus. And this is a big campus, 5-star facility too.
That's right, Danny. So the Brothers came to Buffalo in the 1920s, and they started downtown in Allentown, and they started with home care. They'd ride their bikes actually to patients' homes, didn't charge anything.
Wow.
And in the 50s moved out here to Clarence, and like you said, it's a big place, 126 acres of green space, and came out here in the 50s, and they were the first to start rehab. So if you're in the hospital and you need a little bit more strength before you go home, you can come to Brothers Mercy and get a week or two of rehab, depending on what you need. So the Brothers were the first ones with that in the 1980s, and it's all gone on from there and expanded from there. The building we're in now, it's a skilled nursing and rehab, 240 beds. We have independent living for moderate income people, very affordable. We have a brand new, another independent living facility. It's all inclusive, called Montabaur Heights, which we opened 2 years ago. We have an adult home with 70 beds, and soon we're going to be opening a new assisted living center, hopefully within about a year, that will include memory care. So it's probably not what they saw originally, but I will say they were visionary in their thoughts of home care, which is now very popular again, and rehab, and you know, just moving out to the fresh air of Clarence.
Okay, let's talk about 5 stars. What actually does that mean, and how important is that?
That's a federal scale that involves 3 main things. One is an annual survey, and the Department of Health in New York State carries that survey on, and they check for safety and health measures. Another aspect to being 5 stars is your level of staffing. So do you have enough staff to serve the patients well? And a third measure is something called quality measures. There's 16 of those, and those deal with how well you care for the patients and how well they are when they leave. And there's 16 quality measures, as I said, very specific, and you've got to do well on all these things to become a 5-star facility. In Western New York, there's not too many 5-star facilities.
Let's say that a family lives out of town and they have one of their loved ones here. And they come in, they don't necessarily have to go to a hotel somewhere. They can, would you explain how that works?
So our new facility, Montabaur Heights, is, as I said, it's brand new, it's beautiful. And like you said, occasionally people have come in from out of town to either visit somebody here or they have somebody being taken care of here. We have rooms there, apartments, the full apartments that people can stay in while their loved one is being served on our campus. So it's a really nice situation where they can stay close to their parent or their sister or whatever.
I've had the opportunity to talk to some of the people who are residents here, and I get nothing but good reports from them.
Yeah, it's always about the staff, really is, and our staff is very loyal. Most of them have been here many, many years, and I think the way they treat people is special. And we're a nonprofit, and we're not trying to earn money to pay an owner or to pay dividends. Our staff, we put all our money back into our staff and into our building.
Thanks a lot, Pete, for talking to us today and showing us around. And it's been a really interesting experience for me. I want to thank you very much. The staff is amazing, and this place is amazing. Brothers of Mercy. Nancy, I've seen it, I've heard it, and I know that this is a special place, but I'm going to leave it to you to kind of wrap things up and tell us why it's a special place.
Well, Brothers of Mercy is a very special place, and I'll tell you why. First of all, we're a nonprofit. We're locally owned and operated. We're not owned by an out-of-state or out-of-town corporation, and that has a great impact on those we serve. All of our therapists, our dietary, our nursing staff, all amounts to pristine care here. And with that, you have people who are treated well, warmly, families who are happy, and just a standard that you'll find nowhere else. Our administration is not concerned about the bottom line like a for-profit corporation is. We're concerned about compassionate care and driven by outcome.
You know, Nancy, someday when I get old, I think that'll be next week sometime. This would be a great choice for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan.
Brothers of Mercy, it is a special place. Reach out to Nancy Gugino and the Brothers of Mercy family. Give them a call at 716-759-6985. Brothers of Mercy is at 10570 Bergtoll Road in Clarence. You can find out more online at brothersofmercy.org. Thank you for joining me for Living Your Best Life. If you needed the rehabilitation services of Brothers of Mercy and you look forward to returning home, you might need to make some modifications to your living space to help you live independently. Let me introduce you to a company that can help. I'd like to say hello to Walt Kolt from Kolt Access and Lift. Walt, tell us about Kolt Access and Lift. What do you do to help people in their homes?
Well, we're a family-owned company in Western New York that is part of the community, and we do our best to convert people's homes to make them functional with minor disabilities. We provide stair lifts, grab bars, those type of activities that allow people to live in their homes safely.
Well, it seems to be a trend now that seniors want to be in their own homes. They just feel more comfortable there, and so your company makes them even more comfortable.
Well, it's a proven fact that people not only are more comfortable in their homes, but they live longer, live happier, and live healthier once they're in their house. So we feel that staying in your home is the best alternative if you have the options to do it safely.
Well, what are some of the products that your company offers?
Well, Dan, after people come out of rehab, they have a need for a variety of products. So we do a complete in-home evaluation for each individual, and we take a look and see what they need. And it could be something as simple as a ramp to get up the stairs, or it could be a porch lift, an elevator, a walk-in tub, a roll-in shower, simple grab bars, or a stair glide to go up and down the stairs. We also have pool lifts and automatic door openers, which are all things that help people get in and out of their house without the assistance of other people, or with to make sure that it ensures their safety.
Okay, now your company obviously would go out and scope out what these people need, make suggestions, and I'm sure that that process is pretty involved, so you must spend a lot of time with them.
We spend as much time as we need, not only in the initial stages, but in the installation process. My people will stay and work with the people to train them on the equipment when we're finished, to make sure that they're thoroughly engaged and know how to use the equipment safely and thoroughly. We also have full service. I mean, all our people are trained in service, and one of the things we're very proud of is our service response to the customers in Western New York. We're Western New York. We are part of Buffalo, and we take excellent care of our clients because they're our neighbors, they're our friends.
But you've been known to actually do some work outside the area, and I think that speaks loads for the quality of your company and your reputation. You go out of town occasionally.
We actually work for a lot of manufacturers that take us as far away as Alaska. We have another product called the ceiling lift, which allows people to go from their bed to a wheelchair or for toileting, which allows them to be lifted up safely and without additional manpower in the house. And the ceiling lift product, as unique as it is extremely modern and extremely safe way to get people in and out of the rooms.
Okay, now because people are watching this show who might have relatives out of town, I would think that they could also contact you.
Yeah, we are looking forward this winter to getting jobs in Florida. However, we've gone, like I said, we've gone as far away as we've done installations in California, Alaska, all through the country.
Okay, now there are a lot of new things coming onto the market, and obviously you're involved with that. Could you describe some of the things that are happening right now?
But we can do things like pool lifts, outside ramps, outside lifts that'll bring you up to the porch level, and full-size elevators even inside the house.
What's the thing that goes up the stairs?
That's a stair glide, and we can provide those for straight staircases, curved staircases, or even the circular staircases.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's got to be involved. So obviously your company has a lot of experience in doing this kind of work.
Well, we've been doing this for 20 years now in Western New York. It's a family-owned company. My sons are really involved in the process, and we work hard to take care of all our clients as best as possible.
Let's talk a little bit about insurance, and how do you simplify that situation, and what does Kolt Access do in that
Well,
situation?
we work with each individual client on that because unfortunately the insurance processes are complicated, but some people have insurance that cover it, some do not. And so we do our best to work with each individual, work out either a payment plan or to allow them to be able to process it through their insurance company.
Okay, now your family-owned business, which is kind of interesting that the whole family is involved in it, but you're also a woman-owned business.
Yeah, that's correct.
Who is that woman?
Well, that woman is my wife, and she's the president of the company.
Wow.
She's in the office right now running things while I'm here having a good time with you.
Okay.
He was prompt. He was here when we needed it installed. He did the job. It didn't take very long. And he's provided the service that we wanted. And his reputation is such that I knew I could depend on him to do the job and do it right. And I know personally he's a perfectionist.
If you'd like to contact Walt Kolt and the team at Kolt Access and Lift, it's easy. Simply give them a call at 716-580-3422. Kolt Access and Lift is located at 435 Lawrence Bell Drive in Williamsville. And you can find them online at koltaccess.com. For many of us, the legal challenges of caring for mom, dad, a senior loved one, or even yourself can be complicated. The team at the Stamm law firm have answers to your questions that you and your family may have. Greg, what are the most frequently asked questions when seniors come in? What are they asking you most?
Seniors are very concerned about what those of us who are not kids anymore are concerned about. What's going to happen if I all of a sudden take ill, or if I can't take care of myself? That's the first. The second is, how do I protect the things that I've worked so hard to, accumulate, and how do I make sure that they get passed on to my children and the people I love? I'd say those are the two most important reasons they come to see someone like me.
Okay, now if someone has a concern about a loved one, a senior in the family, what should they do when they come to you? What are they going to ask you?
Well, that's tricky because a lot of times it is the children who call. The parent doesn't want to call, or they're a little bit nervous about calling. When children call, I make it very clear that I'll be happy to see them, but I'd like them to bring their parents or the parent with them, because it's really the parent who becomes the client, not the child.
Okay. What about the level of care and the financial situation? You have to get into all of that to see where they stand at that point, right?
That's one of the reasons we always have a first meeting, just to size up the situation. I don't know what they need. They might not need very much of anything. They maybe have a very good estate plan already. So when they come in, it's conversation. We sit around a table like this, and we ask a lot of questions. What is it that you're concerned about protecting? What is it that you'd like to pass on? Are you worried about what happens when you can't live in your home anymore? And so we start getting into the whole history of their estate and what they'd like to see happen to it. People are very concerned about the cost of where they might end up. It's no secret that nursing homes today are approaching $15,000 a month. And that's a lot of money. I always tell people, unless your name is Warren Buffett or Bill Gates, you're going to go through your money if you go to a nursing home. And so they're very concerned about that. And there are lesser levels that cost less money. There's assisted living, there's senior housing, there's all sorts of options that people have today, so we like to discuss those possibilities with them.
Okay, you mentioned you ask a lot of questions, and they probably have a lot of questions. Do you run into like some stubborn seniors that I'm not interested in this, I'm going to be okay? How do you break that down?
Well, it's very hard. I had a gentleman who's in his 90s who said to me, listen, Sonny, it's none of your business what I have. Well, it's pretty hard to break through that. And unless he tells me what he has and what he wants to protect, there's not much I can do for him. So part of it is gaining people's confidence. I'm a great believer that you have to have, in the lawyer terms, bedside manner. Doctors have to be able to communicate with their clients, well, so do lawyers. You have to put the people at ease that you're not the enemy. You're there to help them, not to take their money from them.
Okay, now this is a family operation, so I would assume that it's easier for you to talk to them because this is a family operation. You're helping a family.
I think the reverse is actually true. I think it's easier for them to talk to us because they know we're a family. A lot of times when people come to a lawyer, they think of some guy who's out there on his own trying to make a living or whatever. When they hear that you're a family working together, it kind of puts them at ease right from the beginning. So I think it works to both their advantage and our advantage.
Okay. Now we're going to talk to Brad Stamm, another member of the Stamm law firm. I want to talk about wills and trusts. Okay, now a will seems kind of maybe an easy thing, but a trust seems a lot more complicated. Could you break down the difference between the two and why they're important?
Well, they're both very important documents depending on the situation, Danny. And when we get clients and we meet with clients and we go through, as my father was talking about, the question and answer type period, we figure out what type of documents do they need or what would they benefit from. Trusts and wills are a little bit different. A trust is more private, let's say. It's not something that is open to the public when something happens to the person, etc. A trust is also an interesting way to distribute assets. A trust is controlled by trustees. It's for the benefit of a particular person, let's say. A will control what you own individually at the time you pass. If you have IRA accounts, 401ks, or life insurance, all those things have designated beneficiaries. So those things go right to that particular individual or individuals without needing a will. So a will is something that controls what you own at the time of your death. And there are times we do estate plans, Danny, where a will wouldn't even matter because we've already designated where this particular individual's assets or whatever they have, where it's going. It could be everything from, you know, a coin collection or jewelry, all the way through their finances, you know, their money. And if we've done that, then a will is really something as a protective measure. It's sort of like a stopgap. It protects things that might fall through. But keep in mind too, in addition to the will, and you've heard us probably talk about the basic three over the years, a will is important, as is a power of attorney and healthcare proxy. Those three documents, when you think about them, we like to think of it as an umbrella. You have a will, a power of attorney, and a healthcare proxy, and it covers your life. The power of attorney helps you decide who's going to handle my financial affairs if I'm not able to. A healthcare proxy lets you decide who's going to handle my healthcare decisions if I'm not able to. And of course, the will is there to make sure that the things you want given or distributed to certain individuals happens. It's your instructions after you die. This is what I want done.
That all sounds very complicated, so I'm thinking people should come to the Stamm law firm. Would you recommend that?
Danny, I'll tell you, my father and my brother and I, we talk about it all the time. We love having clients come to us because the more clients that come to us, the more people and families we are helping. Because we get a lot of clients that'll come in, hand us a box of documents and basically say, I don't even know what my mom or dad have. Please help us. We want to be that. We want to help that person and help that family.
How do you work with clients on legal fees? I'm sure that's one of the questions that they would have.
Oh, sure. It's a big question in today's society. And it's funny because I like to get right to the cut to the chase, as they say, because you can tell when the client's sort of like waiting. When do I ask that question about what's going to cost, right? And my father is very good at it too. We want to take that pressure off. We basically say, listen, after we have this discussion, depending on what you need, this is what it's going to cost. And then we justify it. We just don't say, oh, this is going to cost you $5,000, or this is going to cost you $1,000. We explain why. And by the end, most clients are sort of like, wow, I thought it was going to be more, or I was nervous about this question. But when you get the discussion going and you get their confidence, it becomes, you walk out and you now have formed a relationship. And as my father mentioned, relationships are everything to us in this business.
Here's the information you need to know about the Stamm Law Firm. Call them at 716-631-5767. Their offices are at 1127 Worley Drive, Suite 100 in Williamsville. And the website is stammlaw.com. We hope you've learned a little about how you can be living your best life with an independent experience at home from Kolt Access and Lift, legal peace of mind from the Stamm Law Firm, and everything that the Brothers of Mercy has to offer with their 5-star facility, continuum of care, rehabilitation, and living experience. Thank you for watching. I'm Dan Neaverth, and remember, no matter what your age, you should be living your best life.